The forests of North Carolina held a story that the locals had passed down from generation to generation. It was the story of cannibals who were considered monsters, creatures of which only dark myths existed. But as the legends went, they did exist. The Thornton family lived in a village surrounded by dense forests. They were isolated from the outside world and rarely left their cozy homes. The family was considered dysfunctional. Their lands did not bear fruit and their livestock died under strange circumstances. However, they kept their secret, hiding it from everyone. On a long night, as rain poured down and a thunderstorm rumbled in the sky, a young man named Jake decided to go hunting in the woods to bring home food for his family. His mother was sick and they needed something to eat. For a long time he wandered through the woods looking for game, but found nothing. Then he heard strange sounds, like whispering, and saw the light of torches in the distance. He walked in the direction of the light, approaching cautiously. The closer he got, the more he realized that this was an unusual gathering of people. He had time to hide in the bushes when he saw them. It was the Thornton family, and they were gathered around a large fire. He was shocked by the horrible sight. The family sat around the fire with pieces of meat in their hands. They didn't look human, their faces were mutilated, and they were eating what was clearly part of a human body. Jake almost shrieked, but managed to restrain himself. He had witnessed the gruesome sight of the Thornton family regaining their strength by eating flesh. He couldn't believe what he had seen. Slowly he withdrew into the dark depths of the forest, trying to find his way home. The night had pierced him to the very bones. When he returned to his home, he told his family about what he had seen. They realized that something had to be done about it. They couldn't be alone with these horrible creatures. Jake and his family left their homes, leaving them in the past. But the dark memories of meeting the Thornton family remained forever. Even as they began a new life far from the forests of North Carolina, horrible images kept appearing in their dreams, images of cannibals from deep in the woods. After a horrific encounter with the Thornton family, Jake and his family decide to start a new life in another town, far from the mysterious forests of North Carolina. They left their old home, leaving behind dark memories. Their new residence was remote and secluded. Here they hoped to start a new life and forget the nightmares that haunted their home. But several years passed, and the terrible past still haunted their dreams and daily thoughts. One evening, Jake and his sister Emily were returning from the woods where they had played as children. Suddenly, Emily thought someone was following them. When she turned around, she saw something terrible, figures approaching from the dark depths of the forest. They were there again. The Thornton family had emerged from the woods, and their gazes read lust and passion. They hadn't changed, their faces were disfigured and their clothes were dirty and tattered. Jake and Emily rushed to flee, but the Thornton family was fast approaching. Turning around quickly, they noticed that the black cat had moved noticeably closer to their tail. She looked like a demonic death guide, pointing their way into their hopeless confinement. The fight for life had begun. Jake and Emily darted into the thick of the forest, trying to hide from their creepy pursuers. The dark trees, the sound of the wind, and the voices of the Thornton family created a nightmarish atmosphere. Through many obstacles and losses, Jake and Emily managed to make it out of the forest. But they knew it wasn't the end. The Thornton family was closer than ever, and the black cat continued its dark pursuit. The story of the cannibals and their terrifying power left Jake and Emily alone with a nightmare from which there was no escape. They knew they would run away from this terrible fate again and again, but they hoped that somewhere in the dark depths of the forest there would be an escape from this nightmarish fate. So ends the story of Jake and Emily, who were mesmerized by mysterious creatures from the depths of the forest, and their struggle for survival, where fear and nightmares have always gone hand in hand.